This story dropped a couple of days ago, but we never got into it, and I think it's massive. Because I get a lot of people, they say, Tim, I'm sick of the bad news. It's always so bad. And, I had this impassioned plea yesterday on Timcast IRL about how you shouldn't feel despair. And if you do, time for a course correction, buddy. And I'll break this down because this is what the bigger picture is. There's good news happening all the time. We're winning. Target ditches Pride Month merchandise after last year's backlash. Company refuses to say how many stores will no longer sell LGBTQ items. It's market correction. I don't care what you like or don't like. The fact is, parents got mad that they walked into a store and their kids were exposed to things they didn't want them exposed to. So they said, I'm leaving. Target was like, okay, we're not going to do this anymore. So you win. Conservatives, this is major victory. But the bigger picture here, it's not just about that Target is not going to sell items that you think are bad for your kids or whatever. I certainly think when they put tuck-friendly bathing suits in Target, kids shouldn't be asking what that means. I think that stuff is really bad for kids, and I think it's really bad for adults too. Now, you want to go live your life, you do it, but some of this stuff should be specialty items. There's a limit. We have to be willing to say that we enforce our cultural standards and not just live in this pure libertarian world of anyone can do anything they want. I think the balance is this. In public, we say we have standards. In private, your life. You want to order this stuff, find a specialty store, find something online. But a Target is a general place where children are, and certain things should just be like, no, we don't do that. Like, imagine if they sold, kink toys, whips and stuff. We don't need that overly sexual stuff in these places. It could be a specialty item. So we're winning there, right? Here's the big picture. The reason why I think we overlooked this one because there was a decent amount of stories, despite the fact that there was some news is kind of slow, but this one just didn't make the radar. I hope you're happy with the good news. I hope you're satisfied that the boycotts are working. We're winning culturally. And I want to say this to you. Last night I was talking on Timcast IRL, and I mentioned that, I met a guy, we were playing poker, and he says, I'm a big fan. I used to watch every single episode, every single show, every clip. And then I had to stop because it was just too much. It's like this news is it weighs too much on me. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, sad to hear it. And there are a lot of people who say things like that. They're like, oh man, it's just the news is always so negative. I'm like, well, news is negative. You turn on the news not because you want to hear about a dog that sniffed a flower. You turn on the news to figure out what's going on in the world and how you need to adjust to better prepare yourself. But here's what I would say to you. If you feel like the news is negative and you don't want to watch or listen anymore, by all means, go ahead. I think the night is always darkest before the dawn, but we're winning. I think there are bad things going on. It's undeniable. We're looking at inflation rates. We're looking at, Gen Z's not making as much money as the previous generations. We're looking at kids who can't afford homes, who can't have families. These are bad things, but it's happening. Ignoring it doesn't change the fact. So the people who are like, I just can't deal with it, I get it. It might be hard for some people. So I don't ask you to go on the front lines if you can't handle it. Maybe you want to just go home, turn in the game, and order a slice of pizza. That's fine. Because there are brave men and women in uniform, civilly and in the military, who are willing to do the hard work so that you can. And I mean that with all due respect. Like, they want you to live that comfortable life. They sacrifice that for you. For the rest of us who are not first responders and who are just people who either complain on the internet or watch the news, this is a component of being vigilant and staying active and being prepared. This is the front line of the culture war. If you feel that the despair, if you feel that this news is too negative for you, you need to think, flip it. This is your calling. This is your passion. This is the fire within you. This is your purpose. There's good news every single day, but I'll put it this way. Are you happy that Target is ditching Pride Month merchandise? That kids are not going to be exposed to this stuff? Do you know why that happened? It's not because of police officers or soldiers. It's not because of infantrymen and medics. They're doing important work, the most important work. Within the bubble that we live, that they protect, we have cultural issues, and that's our responsibility. Right now, I'm working on a song with Carter Banks and Phil Labonte. It's called Coming Home. And it's a riff and a verse that I wrote a while ago. Carter and Phil helped finish the song. Otherwise, it never would have come together. And it's mostly coming together. And the song is really simple. It's about coming home to see what our cities have turned into. And if we sit back and say, I don't want to think about this stuff, I don't want to be involved, the news is negative, I just want to watch sports, you're absolutely allowed to do that. But understand, all that is required for evil to triumph is that good men do nothing. And while the most important work, I think, is being done by men and women in uniform, things you don't even know are happening around the world. And I'll say this too, to a great degree, many people in intelligence, we rag on a lot of these federal agencies and stuff too, but because of the bad things and the corruption, but there's good stuff. You know, look, when I see a story about the feds taking down child predators, I'm happy they're doing that. I wish that's what they were doing more of instead of this weird political garbage. That's the problem. How is it that Bud Light crumpled? How is it that Target crumpled? It's actually really simple. You watched the news. That's it. That's all you had to do. And then you were like, wow, let's not go to Target. Let's go somewhere else. And then you did. That's it. You woke up one day and your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, your brother, your sister said, can you pick up, a mop for me? I need, and you're like, okay. And you look up and you're like, here's a Target down the street, but I don't know. I saw that Alex Stein video. And so you decided to go to a different store. That's it. Target noticed. They said, wow, after this PR wave, we lost money. Let's not do this. Now imagine you said, I don't want to think about it. And you bowed out. And you said, then Target would be like, double down, baby. You know why? Conservatives don't care and liberals do. That's it. If you walk into a Target and say, I don't care that they have it on display, I just want to buy a mop, and liberals demand it, put it up there or else, then the stores will do it. The culture will shift. Your video games will shift. Your movies will shift. Your media outlets will shift. And one day you'll wake up and you'll say, what happened to my country? You bowed out. You couldn't handle it. I don't blame you. It's tough. It's hard. But for those of you that simply watched and paid attention and said, I need to be involved in what's happening in this world, you made simple changes. You downloaded the Public Square app. Not a sponsored spot, by the way. I'm just a big fan of Public Square. We had Michael, the CEO, Michael Seifert, on last night. And you said, I'm not going to go to Target. Is there somewhere around me that sells, hardware and stuff? And then you found it. A business that said, we support American values, the family, free speech. And you were like, I'm going to give them money instead. That's all you did. You didn't change anything. You spent the same amount of money, just somewhere else. Did you really care where you bought your mop from in the first place? No. But now, that money, it went to somebody running a business who actually cares about your values. That's why it's important we pay attention. Now, maybe I'm not saying you should watch every single... Look, I have people who say, like, Tim, I watch every single video you do. I'm like, wow, man, I really appreciate that. On average, though, I think for my channel, the average person individually watches 10. Because I put out 16 per week, sometimes 20. Since we moved to the new studio, there's been a lot of work to catch up on, so I haven't been doing the bonus Friday show. The idea normally was that if I recorded an extra segment Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'd have 4 segments for Friday, and so I'd have one 5 days a week. But now with everything we're working on and it's ramping up, like I hope in the next month or two to get back into, maybe in the next week or so. For now, it's also been like we're entering the slow period in news, which is always springtime. May is the worst. Hence, segments like this where it's more metaphysical, philosophical, moral. Because it's more about who we are and what we can do and why we're doing it. We get into winter and it's just you are inundated with all this stuff happening as people go back indoors and start engaging socially. But now's the time. I don't blame anybody for saying they don't want to be involved, but I just want to stress this as we see stories like this. SCNR.com, Target back down because we just pay attention, because we make choices every day on where we shop. We vote with our dollars and our feet, and companies respond. That's why I'm saying a lot of the woke stuff, it's just because good men did nothing. And they said, don't want to be involved, leave me out of it. We can't do that. That's weakness. What's your purpose? Why are you here? Why did you come to this earth? Why were you born? You have a mission. Every generation does. Some people just want to sit around. They want to enjoy a nice pack of buffalo wings, maybe watch the game, play some poker with the boys. It feels good. But we are men of action. We have purpose and we have responsibility. And your purpose may be simple. Have a family, get a job, work hard, be a good dad, be a good mom, and pay attention to the world around you to make sure that evil does not penetrate your home, your neighborhood, your city, your county, your state, your country, your world. And for many people, it's actually really simple. You just pay attention and act accordingly. Become a member at timcast.com. How about that? Support people like Steven Crowder, Viva Fry, Sticks, X, and Hammer, all good people that are talking about issues that matter. Pay attention. Some of you maybe will do more. Maybe you'll get active. Maybe you'll run for office. Maybe you'll start a business. Maybe you will be one of those public square businesses. We all play our part. The simplest thing anyone can do is just know. For all that is required for evil to triumph is that good men do nothing. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.